Hey guys, welcome to the team call. We do this call every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific, and then that makes it 8 o'clock on the Eastern coast, Eastern side. Super excited tonight. We've lined up a whole bunch of guest speakers, but we're really excited tonight, and starting it off for us is Amber Smith. And so, you know, I talked to Amber from the round table a little while ago, and so this was the first time that we were able to basically get the calendars to match up. And she's 5-star diamond coach, elite for 2021. So woot woot for that, right? That's awesome. Top 100 success starter, top 200 teen. That's fantastic. Also 30 months in Success Club 5, and on her way. Oh yeah, that 1 month. I have one of those months too. But you know, it's so excited to hear, because you had like a really big 2020, right?
Yeah, yes.
So tell us real briefly, or tell us about that, and then I'll let you get into what your presentation is. But so like January of 2020, you were what?
Well, I was a lifetime 1-star diamond, but I was a current diamond at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I entered the year as a diamond coach, and we just ended the year as a 5-star elite team for the first time. And we ranked at 217, so not quite to top 200. But still, it was just an amazing year, and I'm so excited to share, you know, and hopefully give you guys tangible tips that you guys can see more success for yourselves and your own businesses. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Fantastic, man. So diamond to 5-star.
Yes.
In a year. So right,
Yeah.
Think about that, guys. It's January, so where do you want to be this time next year? But okay, so you're the co-host. You want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Just take it away, young lady.
All right. Let's see. I think I can go here.
Someone's at the front door.
Was that me? No, that's not me.
No, that's groceries just got here. I'm going to text somebody to take care of that.
Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay, great. So a little bit about me. I love when I have guest speakers speak on my team call, and when my upline does, I love hearing a little bit about them so that I can connect the dots and connect the pieces a little bit more of their story and where they've been and where they are now. So just first off, you know, I'm from Maine. I am a senior in college, so I actually have 1 semester left before graduation, which is so exciting. I recently just turned 21, so drop all your favorite cocktails, all your beers, like whatever you like. And I'm a dog mom. I've been dating my high school boyfriend, or high school sweetheart, I should say, for almost 7 years, and I'm a major homebody. So it's a little bit about me, and I am so excited to be here. I'm so honored that Chris asked me to speak. He's helped me a lot with, we had a call, and he helped me so much with my downline and understanding the things. So I am so honored, and I am so excited to share with you guys. So I really just want to come on here and just share how exactly, or, you know, the 5 biggest tips that I think that got me, or I know that had got me through this like really phenomenal year with my team. So I started as a coach in 2018. And I'm going to share, you know, my story in a nutshell. I feel like I could share the details of my story. But basically, growing up, I was always an athlete, right? So I was a dancer. I played premier soccer, like soccer year round, always trying new things. I tried track. I tried cross country. And, you know, I just never had to worry about my gaining weight, or, you know, about exercising or eating healthy. Like, I was very fortunate to have a family who like fed me pretty well, you know, and just like made sure that I had a protein, a carb, and a veggie in my dinner, and like always had lunches, whatever. And so insert college. The summer before college, I was just like really nervous because all I heard was about the freshman 15. Like, oh my God, you see so-and-so gain the freshman 15, like everywhere, everybody was talking about the freshman 15, right? And so I went into college my freshman year and I left home, and that's already a big transition phase, right? And I just felt like, regardless of how my college year went, I was not gaining the freshman 15. And so I had never been in the gym before. I had never, I didn't know, my family was no longer serving me meals, right? Like I had to do the things on my own. And I was like, okay, I loved my body and I loved the way I look. And I was like, okay, I just want to maintain my same size, right? So I was like, okay, let's just go to the gym and like eat less, because you're not, you're not working out as much as you were in high school as an athlete year round. Long story short, I spent 2 hours at the gym every single day, biking like 15 miles and really just depriving myself of food. And at the time, I thought this was healthy. And it wasn't. I mean, I was eating like a rice cake with peanut butter, a handful of lettuce for lunch, and just like a plate of mashed potatoes into the dining hall food. Like I just like didn't like anything. Like I just felt like, oh my God, like whatever I ate, I had to burn off. I always counted my calories, just wicked obsessed. And there was a turning point for me. And I actually came home from college one weekend and my family was ordering out Chinese, right? And I loved Chinese. And they had an idea that I was like not the same human, right? Because when you're not taking care of yourself, you become a different person. Like I was so moody. I am naturally a positive human and I just wasn't. I was ruining a lot of relationships with the people I loved most because I wasn't taking care of myself. And so I came home and they're like, what combination do you want, right? Because like you can get combinations at Chinese restaurants. And they're like, do you want blah, blah, blah? The one I always used to get. And I was like, okay, sure. And I just remember them leaving to go pick it up and just like having that heart of, oh my God, like what am I going to do, right? Because I was all alone and at college and nobody was looking at me. Nobody was watching what I ate. And I just remember like I didn't have a cheat meal like that like in months, guys, like months. I did not eat any of those foods. I thought if I ate them, I'd instantly gain weight. That's what my mindset was. And so I just remember like picking the rice out of like just like poking the rice with the fork, and it was just like so awful. That next morning, that was like my breaking point. That next morning, I woke up and I sat at the table and I like asked myself, like, Amber, do you want to spend the rest of your life doing this to your body? Like, look at you. You're not the same human. And so I reached out to my coach, and she's a family friend. And so I noticed like her transformation. What I noticed most was how happy she was and how glowing she was. And so I said, hey, like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I'm doing this. I was like, okay, send me the details. And I enrolled in like 5 minutes. Like I was one of those. And I like had no money. I worked at a coffee shop in college and I just like had no money, but I was like, I need this. Like I need something, right? And so I started doing the 21-day fix. That's like most like, I feel like a lot of people sign up and they do the 21-day fix, and not even to the end of the program, I was like, I want to be a coach. And so that's kind of how my journey started. I just, was eating like 3 or 4 times more than what I was. And I was working out a quarter of the time all at home because I'm a homebody and I loved that. And even in my dorm room, as you can see there, that's where I first started my journey. So that's a little bit about me and my story. And I'm going to take you through the tips that I really did to transform my business in 2020. So tip number 1 is I started sharing my entire story over and over again, you guys. And this may be something you've heard before, maybe not, but I mean it. And I mean, like, stop posting surface level posts, right? Like I'm a very tough love human, PSA, and I do swear sometimes, so I'm so sorry. But if you are posting, surface level posts, you guys, then I challenge you to go back and figure out, why did you start Beachbody? What is your story? If you're telling yourself you don't have a story, I know you do, right? Like you have to find that. And I think when you can find that story and constantly share that story, and you don't have to share it in the exact same ways, right? You can post graphics on your story. You can go on live and talk about your story. You can do IGTVs, right? You can do reels. There's so many different options on how you can share your story and in different ways, so it doesn't feel repetitive. And when you're in the business for a while, I don't know how long you guys have been in this business, but it can feel like, oh my God, yeah, everybody just knows my story. But that's not true. It's really, truly not true. And as soon as you can get deeper and deeper into your story and sharing stories about your story, aka the Chinese, right? Like I've shared that in a post before. That is when your followers and your people are going to trust you 10 times more, because so many more people can relate to that versus just posting a selfie with a quote, right? Like you have to be speaking from your heart, and you have to be speaking like it's you, right? Like when I read your post and I know you as a human, I should be like, okay, yes. Like when I read my leader's post and if it was covered, I would know exactly who it was. Okay, so I want you to think about that. Like if you were reading your post, or your best friend was reading your post, does it sound like you? Like ask her, like, or him, ask them, like, does this sound like me? And because you want to build a brand and you don't want to keep changing the brand, right? Like you truly want to be yourself. And so, I started when I first was, into the business and like just had hit diamond, that obviously I had to figure out what my next stepping stone was. And that was my social media. You guys, your social media is your entire business. You are your entire business. You are attracting people. People enroll with you because they like you. They see something in your story that they feel like they need, maybe, right? But they genuinely like you, I hope, if they're signing up with you, right? Or following your stories or following your journey. And so what I had to do, I had to dig deeper, and I had to say, okay, what is really your story, Amber? What really makes up who you are? And so I was born with a eye disorder, which was a brain defect. And it was really super hard in school growing up. Like I was like, oh my God, like I struggled so bad in school. I was bullied for the way I looked and like all the things. And that was something I never talked about as a diamond coach. And maybe it was because I didn't have the confidence yet. Maybe it was because, I was still insecure about it. But that right there gained so much trust and vulnerability through my followers and made my business explode. Not just this, but sharing difficult parts and getting vulnerable and getting outside your comfort zone is going to propel your business forward, because it's going to grow you as a human as well. And people can attract from you, right? People can attract your energy for sure. So I kept sharing about that, and I shared about, little stories. Like for instance, when I was at the gym all the time, there was a tracker of how many, so after you went to the gym, you would log out, scan your ID card out and log how many miles you biked or ran that day. And I had like the top, by fine colors, the top number of miles. And we got an email, it was like announced to the whole school, like Amber Smith got like X amount of numbers. The second person was like at least 100 miles behind me. And I just remember feeling like so proud. I got a free t-shirt, but now like that makes me sick. Like that wasn't normal, right? And so I share that. I share the t-shirt. I still have the t-shirt, right? So the sooner you can really crystal clear your story and share those stories within your story, your business is going to gain so much more traction, you guys, and you are going to gain so much more confidence, if that makes sense. So tip number 1 is start sharing your story over and over and stories within your stories. People love that. People love that so much. So tip number 2, I had the hard conversations, right? I need water. Okay, so like everybody on this screen, these are like my people, right? Like my mom, my dad, my sister, who's my best friend, and that's my boyfriend. And so tip number 2 was having those hard conversations. Last January, I went into the year, as I went into 2020 as a diamond coach, lifetime 1-star. And I just remember, feeling like, okay, this is a big goal, Amber, but if you're going to do it, you're going to have these hard conversations, right? And when you tell your family or you tell people who you are so close to and care what they think about you, that makes you 10 times more accountable to hit those goals and accomplish those goals, right? Like I told my mom, I told my dad, I told my sister, and I told my boyfriend, like, I want to be a a 5-star diamond team. Like I said it out loud and I had those tough conversations with my people, and that I could not let them down, right? I could not disappoint them. Did they know exactly what it meant? No. But they said, wow, Amber's going to go for this goal. Like, that's really cool. And now that I've hit it, right, they're like, wow, Amber, like, I remember you telling me that last year. Like, that's so awesome. And of course they followed along throughout the journey of this year. But really, guys, like, sit down with your husband or sit down with whoever, and be like, hey, like, I'm going to be working a lot more for this goal, or hey, like, I'm going to really need your support on this. I'm really going to need you to believe in me. When I feel like I'm having doubts, like, I need you to lift me back up. What do you need from your people? And make sure that you're showcasing that goal and sharing that goal with them, right? Like, when we had failures, oh my God, like, I needed them to lift me back up, right? So, and if you don't have these people, you guys, which I'm so like grateful that I do, but you have a whole team, right? I'm sure you have some sort of community right here on this call where you can lean in. Even tell your upline, what is your goal this year? Tell them, say it out loud, get comfortable saying it as much as it makes you scared. Get comfortable saying it. When you tell somebody your goal and you have a date even, right? That makes it 10 times more accountable, especially people who you love, right? Or who you genuinely like care what they think of you. Okay. So that was tip number 2, is have those hard conversations. I sat down with every single one of these humans and had different conversations with them. Okay. So hopefully this is helping. Tip number 3, which is also something you may have heard, may have not, but something that I think is so important that has changed the game for me has been affirmations, visualizations, and my why, right? So these, like, my all-time whys, one day I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm not ready to be a mom right now, but I have other goals leading the way for me to get to that big goal, right? So I want to sponsor kids in Africa. I want to obviously graduate. I want to buy land and build a house. That is my dream home. Like, that's not going to happen in a year, right? But later down the road, of course it is, because I believe that it can happen. I have the caption of when I graduate college on there. I'm a psych major. I'm a psychology major, minoring in elementary education. It says, psych, I'm pursuing my dreams of being my own boss, right? Like, I can picture that in my cap and gown with that caption. And so I want you guys to, of course, make a vision board if you already like haven't. And I made the biggest mistake, I swear, you guys, is the 1 year I went 1-star, 2019, I didn't make a vision board. I actually didn't show up. Fun fact, I didn't show up to the vision board party because I was too scared to set goals. And I played it safe all year, and I went from diamond to 1-star in a year. And then the next year I went to the vision board party and I set really scary big goals, and I looked at them every day, and I sat down every single morning before scrolling on social media, before looking at my social media, and I journaled and I wrote, I am an elite coach. I am a 5-star diamond, every single day in my notebook, right? Every single day. And I visualized, what would it feel like? What would it feel like getting an elite call? What would it feel like walking across the stage as a 5-star diamond? Really visualize that and get so detailed, as much detail as you can, because it's going to become more real. And really making sure that you know your why. Your why is so important, you guys. That is what's going to drive you when you're tired, or when you're sick, or when you feel like giving up, right? That why, you have to know. It has to be read or, wrote or whatever every single day. Like, so every morning I write my affirmations, I write down a piece of my why, and I visualize. What do I want? And I write down my daily goals. Like, do you want to help 2 people today? Do you want to help a coach get to Emerald, right? You have to have, structure in order to get you to those long-term goals. So tip number 3 is really not only having a morning routine, but making sure that you guys are doing your affirmations, you're visualizing, and you know your why. Like, what goals do you want to be focused on? What's the one business goal? Okay, what's the one business goal that you want to accomplish this year? I want you to write in the chat. What's the biggest one that you have on your heart, or that's like in your gut, you have that fire in your belly, and that you want to go after? What's that one goal? I want you guys to put it in the chat. Okay. So Tip number 4, I let my coaches in. Okay, this is probably the biggest tip I could give you. So I let them lead and I helped them map out their goals. I poured my heart and soul into them. I was available to them, you guys, all day, right? And I'm not saying you have to do that, but I was there like a message away. Like Amber, not that Amber, I need help with this, but it was more like, hey, like I just signed up somebody on my left leg. And I'm like, that's so amazing. Like they're so excited to do these things and tell me about it, right? So I could shout them out. I let them know how much they meant to this team. And I think this one is really important. You can get caught up, or you can even feel selfish saying, I want to be a 5-star diamond, or I want to be a 10-star diamond, or whatever, and think that you can think that your team thinks that you just want to say that you are this, right? And I think it was really important for me to be like, hey, like, I don't care about the accolade. Like, I want to do this as a team. Like, I want to link arms and I want to, get closer to every single one of our goals, AKA our why, right? So if you don't have a goal aligned with your rank, you have to do that. So like I didn't just want to be a 5-star diamond to say I'm a 5-star diamond, right? Like, no. I wanted to be a 5-star diamond because I knew it would get me closer to being able to graduate and do this business full time. That is what drove me forward. So I want you guys to think about that. So now that you wrote that big goal in the chat, I want you to think about, what do you actually want from that big goal? What is actually aligned with that big goal? Because it's not just the accolade. And if it is, that's not going to get you there, because you're going to hit the accolade and you're going to say, now what? Okay, that was cool. But when you have something attached to it, it makes it that much more meaningful, right? So write in the chat, what is that one thing or things pushing you to get to that goal? Why do you want to hit that goal? I stopped dragging. So it can be really easy to drag people onto this with this business with you, right? Like it can be so easy. But I challenge you guys, it's the best thing ever to like take a step back, and instead of using your energy to drag your people that you spent so long finding, is to go out there and find new ones. Okay, because that you want people who want to work this business with you, and they're out there, I promise. And I know it can feel so frustrating, like, oh my God, I can't find any coaches. Oh my God, this is so hard. Like, I get it, you guys, but you absolutely can. You absolutely can. And if you're telling yourself that, then that's probably what's going to happen. You're not going to attract your people, right? Because your energy is low and you're already telling yourself like, hey, like I can't find my people. Like, this is just like, I'm never going to have a team. Right? So really, really focus on your mindset as a leader and with your confidence. But anyway, I reminded them how capable they were. I reminded them, how appreciative I am to have them on my team. Constantly. I was constantly shouting them out on my stories for every little thing that they were doing, constantly recognizing them on the team page for everything, you guys. Like if they enrolled one human, I'm like, that is so amazing. Go shout them out. Create that FOMO. I was there for them 24/7. And when I said that, I don't mean like I spent like 24 hours waiting for them to message me. No, but I was available to them, I should have said. I posted on my team page daily. I went live on my team page so much. I focused on who really wanted to run, and it was these girls right here. I focused on really making sure that they knew that this was possible for them. One of the big reasons I wanted to hit elite was because I wanted to show these girls right here what was possible. What if I could do it, why couldn't they, right? Like I wanted to show them that they could do this too. And I really wanted to focus on, leading from the front. So with this being said, you guys, if you are not hitting Success Club, if you are not recruiting new coaches every single month, you cannot expect your coaches to do that, right? Like if you are hitting, I don't know if you've heard this, ratio before, but if you are hitting Success Club 6, people are probably gonna barely hit, Success Club 2. So, but if you're hitting Success Club 20, your coaches are gonna at least be at 6, if not 10, right? You build the momentum of this team. So if you're feeling down, they're gonna feel down. So I had to learn that as a leader. Okay, Amber, like if your mindset is off or you're in a funk, you've got to get rid of it and you've got to figure it out. You got to figure out your shit, because the longer you don't, you're dragging them down with you. And so, that was a really big game changer for me too, is like, I went through so many funks the year before, and I realized like that was just making my team's energy so low. So I figured out, okay, why are you in a funk? Like, let's fix it and let's move on and let's get our energy back up so that they can get their energy back up, or so we can do it so they don't even fall down. We can do it that fast. So how did I find these amazing humans? I found them by sharing my story over and over again, which was like tip number one. Never missing a day of showing up, and showing up 100% myself, and by actually looking, right? Like, you have to be authentically yourself, but you have to be looking. You have to be looking for these people. Like, are you obsessed with finding your leaders? When I think about my next diamonds or my next leaders or star diamonds, I get tickled pink, you guys. Like, I am so excited. Do I know who they are? But I'm excited to go out there and find them, right? Like, I'm excited for that. And so get excited. And the other thing I wanted to touch base on, is mindset is everything. I stopped relying also on my upline, and everything changed. And so I kind of touched base on this, but I embraced that CEO mindset. And if you guys, side note, before I go into this slide, if you guys have been to NLC, I want to know if like that lit a fire under your booty. And if you didn't, or you haven't gone yet, I challenge you to put that on your vision board if it's not already, because that is that honestly also changed the game for me. Like, my leaders and my mentors just pouring belief onto me. And I came home ready to run. So if you are not, or you haven't been an NLC attendee yet and you are eligible, like, you guys need to go. You need to go today. Like, you need to earn it today. No, really. But so look at the FIQ, look at the requirements, and really put that on your vision board, you guys. I also, so it can be so easy to rely on your upline if you have one. My upline doesn't have an upline, so she did everything. So, I stopped relying on her. And I stopped relying on her to hit Success Club, right? I stopped looking at her numbers to compare what mine should be, and I stopped relying on her to post trainings. I went out there and I posted trainings. I figured it out. I detached myself from her and her team goals. And I said, okay, I'm here for your goals, of course, like, I'm a leader on your team, but I want mine. I'm ready for mine. And I dug deep into that, and I fixed the voices in my head. You guys, we all have self-doubt. We all have negative thoughts. We all, have those days where, oh my God, this business isn't for me. This is so hard. I don't know if I can do this. And I fixed those voices in my head, and I learned how to get over setbacks like a boss, because I had a lot this year. And so your mindset is everything. And that's not the first time you've heard anybody say this, but I'm telling you because it's so true. And I know it can be repetitive, but your mindset is everything in this business. And so one thing I really wanted to do with you guys is really ask you, are you doing the things? Okay. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Could you be doing more? Are you setting too small of goals? Are you playing it safe? If you enter the year as an Emerald coach, are you saying, I want to be diamond by the end of the year? Right? Are you working towards that goal each and every day? Are you getting in the way? And ask yourself, what's stopping you? What is stopping you from hitting that goal or accomplishing a goal? And I ask my coaches this all the time. Like, we do gut checks all the time. Like, gut check, did you do your vitals today? Did you complete your tracker? Right? Everybody starts at 0. Every single month, Success Club points reset, right? Every single month, we have to recruit new people. We have to help more people. And also, you guys, every January, our Coach Online office goes 0. There's like, everybody starts at the same place. Everybody has equal opportunities to be elite, to be top 10, to be top 15. Everybody has those same exact opportunities. And I really want you to think about that for a second. So if you're telling yourself, I'm too far away to be elite, I'm too, I can't even help 10 people. How am I supposed to be a premier coach? Whatever those self-doubts thoughts and just whatever you're telling yourself, ask yourself why. Like, you are the only human in your way. I promise, you are the only person in your way. And if you're ready to take action and to complete your chapter and to do the things, then your business is going to explode, right? Consistency is everything in this business. I've missed maybe 2 days of my vitals for the past 2 years. But it's gotten me to where I am today. And if you're like, oh my God, like, I've missed like X amount of days, and I've been a coach for X amount of years, like, don't compare, you guys. But listen, even if you haven't, like, this is a brand new opportunity for you to start fresh, right? It's January. Like, let go of all that negativity from 2020 and just dive in and set your goals and be authentic and attract your people. And so now I want to do a little activity with you all. I want you to get out a piece of paper and I want you to write down all of your self-limiting beliefs and all of the negative thoughts. And it can be business related and not. So like maybe you have thoughts about parenting or anything else, household stuff, like whatever. Get out a piece of paper and I want you to write all of it down. And then I'll tell you what to do next. So just maybe like 30 seconds. Okay, I still see some of you writing, but after you're done, I want you to take the piece of paper and I want you to like crumple it up and throw it out. And I want you to let go. I don't want you just to crumple it up and throw it out and think of those things tomorrow. I want you to actually let it go. Okay. And this activity I do it, oh my gosh, probably like 3 times, every 3 months, especially with my team, you guys, because it's so important. It is so important to let go of those self-limiting beliefs because they're in the way of you and your goals and taking action to those goals. Okay. You have the power to change it. You have the power to flip it. Okay. So I just want you to remember that. And the last thing I want you guys to do is I want you to think about what would happen if you gave it your all the next 12 months starting tonight. So maybe you haven't done your vitals tonight. Maybe you've done nothing for your business today, but you can change that, right? Like you can change that. So what would happen if you completed your tracker for the next 12 months? Where would you be? Think about that. Where would you be? How crazy is that? You have the power to do whatever you want to grow the organization of your dreams however you want to these next 12 months and accomplish any goal that you want. How are you going to take advantage of that, right? And so the next thing I challenge you to think about and bring back to your teams is we all hear excuses, right? Like raise your hand if you have ever made an excuse for not completing your tracker or doing your vitals. Like, okay, a lot of you. Yes, of course. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm sure those of you who have big teams or have teams, I'm sure you hear the excuses of, I'm too tired to do my vitals. I'm too busy. Like it's just like, there's so many different excuses, right? And I challenge you to ask them this. I challenge you to make them go on their phone, and I challenge you to check the amount of time they're on their phone, their screen time, and I want you to ask them after, tell me the number, right? You guys can do this too if you would like. Tell me the number of how many hours you were on your phone on average, and then I want you to tell me how many of those hours or I think probably most of you have hours, but tell me how many of those hours were you working your business? Okay. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Like I did this with my coaches a couple weeks ago, and a lot of them were like, oh my God, like I spend 6 hours on my phone. And I'm like, yeah, you're telling me you're too tired, like, or too busy. What? And they're like, well, I guess I'm not. And I'm like, yeah, you're scrolling TikTok for 2 hours. Seriously, right? So I want you guys to be honest. I'm like, what if you just, like, I'm like, Kimmy, what if you spent 6 hours working your business instead? Like, where would you be right now? Honestly. That's a really good, something that I love to do as a gut check is like, even for me too, like, okay, Amber, like, where are you? Are you at your successful goal? Are you at where you want to be? Okay, no, like, how can I use my time better? So be thinking of that as well. And the last thing I'll leave you with is this. You know, we can make excuses all the time, but I truly don't believe that people say I'm too tired or, you know, I'm too busy or I just didn't get to my tracker today because they didn't get to it. If they're saying they're too tired to do their shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying it's not that you're too tired. You need to take a step back and realize why you are actually not doing your shit. Is it because you're not believing in yourself? Is it because you're actually too tired because you're not following a meal plan, or because you're not exercising and you're just sluggish because you're eating like crap? Right? There's a reason why they're saying that excuse. So I challenge them to take it a step back. If they're saying they're too busy, I'm like, okay, go check your screen time. Like, you're not too busy. Like, what's really truly going on? And that way you can make a game plan and help them strategize to get better and to become better. So that is what I have for you. I'm a little bit squirrel brain, so sorry, but I've had like a really exciting day, and it's just been like, a little crazy over here. So sorry if it was a little scatterbrained, but I hope you guys can get some nuggets out of this. I hope you can get some takeaways, and I hope this helped you. I'd love to answer any questions if we have time, or if that's a thing here. Do you guys do questions? I don't know. How do I stop share? There we go. Wow, there's a lot of you on here. Holy moly.
Yeah. So there's 4 teams on here basically.
Oh my goodness.
So
hello.
yeah, we've teamed up together. Man, I'll tell you what, I really liked, you know what I loved? I loved the, does your post sound like you, I mean, cause you can, like, for the people that are on this call right now, right, you can think about like, all right, if I wrote something, would people be like, that's not you? Or if you just look at your, or you can just look at what it is that you've been posting earlier today, or and if it does sound like you, does it sound like somebody that if you were like looking to make a change in your life, you'd be like, that's somebody I need to affiliate with, or is it somebody like, they're like, oh, you know what, let me find somebody else because I'm not who I need to be with. But yeah, it shows your whole story. So let me say, did you say you're about to turn 21?
I just turned, well, no, I shouldn't say just, I feel like it was just, but it was actually in July, the end of July. I turned.
And so you've been a coach for how long? So you signed up like when you were 18?
Yes, my freshman year of college.
Guys, so like, I mean, let me just give you props for that, for being, because like I think about, like, I'm almost 50 now, like twice your age, right? And I'm like, man, and I'm like, man, I wish I'd found this when I was 25, but I wasn't in the right, I didn't have the right mindset at 25 to where I'd be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to build a huge network marketing business. So it's super impressive that you had the mental maturity to see this for what it is, as young as you are. So props to that.
For sure. I've always been an old soul.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Does anybody have any questions at all?
I would like to say that I liked very much your story. Sorry, your
Yeah,
stories.
find
And
you.
I know my camera's not on. My eyes are really puffy right now, and so it
Oh,
kind of
don't
hurts
worry.
to look at the screen. So I
Don't worry.
apologize.
Don't worry.
But I'm here. Hi. I'm actually on Chris's team. But I like how you talked about your story inside of a story and keep repeating it, because sometimes I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but it's truthful and it's sincere. And if I think about it, when I share stories inside of that big giant story, I'm also adding more as I develop myself as a person with my health and of course coaching now.
For sure.
So I think that that's always a good idea to always remember that, like, these are stories to the big one after all. So I really like that you brought that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Amber, it looks like there's a question in the chat. It says, she mentioned sharing her hard times over and over. Was it in her stories or in her posts?
Mm. Both, honestly. And I think also, that when I started to share the vulnerable with my followers and with my story personally, I also started to share the failures and the setbacks that I was having in my business with my team, to be like, hey, like, I'm not a perfect leader. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to figure it out too, but I'm getting back up. And that was really important for them to see. They always thought of me like, oh my God, like, this is Amber. And I'm like, no, like, this is not Amber. And so I started, like, popping on my team page and being like, hey, like, I've had like 8 ghosts this month, but I'm still kicking, like, let's go. And so it's really important to also share that with your team, like, when you're struggling, because I feel like oftentimes we just share the aftermath of, last month I had a really hard month, right? But instead of sharing that in the moment and sharing how you're going to get out of it, or you're going to persevere, that is something that's really important too. What is your coach onboard process training? Oh, that's a good one. So my coach onboard process is very, very simple. I send them all an email. It's a very simple email, like step to step. I'm a very organized person. So it has, I think 5 different videos of the daily vitals, a welcome video, and it has attached to that, it has a getting started right checklist. So it has everything that they should do. After they do it, they message me and they say, Amber, I've done it. Can we hop on a one-on-one? There's like step-by-step instructions for them to do so, and then we get on a one-on-one. I make them 20 minutes. That's it. Because I have found, like, there are so many people that are going to come and go in this business, and not every new coach you enroll is going to actually, want to work the business. So it's really important to prioritize your time. Also, what I've done is, like, I've recruited X amount of coaches, and then we just had like one big call after they've all completed the training, and try to get them to complete that training within like 5 days of enrollment, so they're excited and they're not so nervous, right? They can sit in those like thoughts of, oh my God, what did I just get myself into, which you don't want. So that's what I have. Woo woo, share a card. Does anybody have, you're my twin? I love this call. That is amazing.
I'm going to intervene because everyone knows I can't handle awkward silence. So I appreciate the fact that you like Chris knows it's like my worst nightmare. It's like, any questions? And then you just stare at the screen. But I just wanted to point out that I'm obsessed with your energy. I'm huge on energy, and I'm also huge on, like, I catch myself when I'm like watching the screen. I'm like, I have a resting bitch face, and this poor girl is like, because it's like my worst nightmare when you're talking and everyone's just like, so, but I wanted to point out for all you guys that, see her and hear her story and connect with it and relate to it. And right now your wheels are spinning, and hopefully we're not in the must be nice mindset, and you're in that if she can, I can mindset, because that's where you need to be, right? But also look at the energy she came at 8 o'clock at night onto this call. She hasn't drained once because she's so passionate about what she's doing. She's like bebopping around, like, who's got the questions? What's up? Like, let's do this. Like, that's the energy you have to come to this business with. And she said that you bring that energy in your conversations, in your posts, in everything, so people can connect with that energy. If you're coming into it with that like negative slope, grasping, hoping, crossing fingers, it's going to make all the difference. Like,
Sure.
I think your story is absolutely incredible. And like what Chris said, when I didn't hear your age. So now I'm just really mad because I wish I wasn't ignorant and I would have jumped at this a long time ago. I think you're amazing. And I think
Thank
that
you.
they can take, and I can take so much away from who you are, what you're about, and what you've achieved in this time period. And literally it always comes down to a decision. And like for some of you, this call, I will challenge you guys to then message Amber come December and say, because of your call, I decided I could do this. And this is what I've been able to do that year. Cause that's like, there's nothing better from a coach. So like some of you make this, that call that's determined you what you're going to do this year.
You know what's crazy? You
What?
you spoke on my the very first Super Saturday that I ever went to. Small world.
Wait, which one?
Didn't you come to Maine?
Here in Maine.
Okay, where?
Yes, that was my very first Super Saturday in the elementary school.
Oh God, that's like the coolest place ever to speak.
Yeah. Yes,
That's
it was,
crazy.
and I remember. Mhm.
That's crazy. Well, I'm sorry for what I
Right.
said, but I'm really proud of you what you've been able to achieve.
Oh no! Oh my goodness. That's so funny.
That is
Okay.
crazy. Just think about that was last year, Joan. Was it last year?
No,
No,
2 years.
2 years ago. And then now you're an elite coach.
Yeah.
No, you were here in January of last year. You were here January of last year. Are you thinking of Anita, Amber? You might be thinking of Anita Myron. She was at the school. She was who did it then.
I
Okay.
did it at a soccer
Maybe you weren't
court.
at the school.
But that was July before you came. So seriously, like, I mean, 4 months, 3 months.
I just remember you speaking at Super Saturday. I thought it was at the school. Maybe I'm probably wrong. I have a terrible memory, if I'm being honest.
If it was her, it was January, and it was at the point in South Portland.
Amazing. That is so awesome. You're so young, guys. I don't feel that young. Does anybody else have any other questions? You guys can obviously message me as well. I'm happy to help. But yeah, if that's it, like, I think we're good.
No, man.
I'll
it's
just finish.
fantastic.
Oh, Chris, I'm going to interrupt you. I'll just finish off with one thing, too. I think I just want to reiterate how simple it really is. Like, you guys, like, Christina just commented about Amber's energy, right? And Amber just said, Ashley's your coach, right, Amber?
Yes.
Okay.
Ashley James. Mhm.
Yeah. And Amber said what had her sign up was Ashley's energy. It wasn't even really her results. It really wasn't a paycheck. It really wasn't any of that, guys. It was like, oh my God, they feel good. And I just want to fucking feel good. And that's how like people feel. That's what they want, right? So if you need to do something to get yourself to that point where you're feeling good so people are attracted to what you're doing, I say, number one, be proof. Number two, you're like I was in a shit mood today. I'm just going to throw that out there. So what did I do? I threw on music. I went for a drive. I went and walked on the beach with my dog. I went and got a cocktail by the fire with Ryan at a place that we love, right? And then I came back and I was like, oh, I'm happy. And then I started recognizing my team. And then that put me in like a better place too, right? And then you're in a good place to like reach out or like do your workout and chug some jives and start reaching out like to people. But like be sharing when you're in that feeling, like that really good feeling, because I think that was super important. And then number two, I think the other thing that she did so brilliantly, you guys, is she shares her story over and over and over and over and over and over again. And if you look at all top coaches, that's all they freaking do all day long. They just share their story over and over and over and over and over again. And you think that you're sharing it and somebody's going to get bored, but you might just share it at that one point where there's that person out there that's like, oh, that just clicked for me right now. And that's all it takes, right? So I love that you made it so simple. It's about like your energy, just being proof, showing up and sharing your story. That's literally all you have to do, guys. And so, of course, and own your shit and like do your stuff. But like, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I loved your call. Thank you for sharing with us. I think it's awesome.
Yes, for sure. Your story is literally your business. It's the only one that is like yours. Somebody say
Jennifer?
they're gonna
Is
unmute
this
them.
Jennifer trying to
Yes, it's me. I've been told to unmute and it's bedtime also. But it's like my claim to fame to get in the middle of the bed. So speaking up tonight with all these people I don't know, but I love you all. I'm so glad we're here. It's like super uncomfortable, but you will see me cross the stage. So it's fine. You know, I'll be there waving at you and you'll be alongside of me. But My thing was, when you get like your coaches in, do you keep them like, everybody has their different pods and like, groups and that sort of thing, but how do you keep up with your coaches? And then at what point, like if it feels like, okay, I have these 10 coaches or have these 5 coaches and I'm dragging a few of them, how do you keep them up but also continue on to lead? Because obviously, we all know the difference in dragging versus leading.
Yeah.
But how do you, intertwine that without like feeling like you're giving up on somebody?
That's a really good one. So I think I got the second half of your question, but if I don't get it all, please tell me. So when I have coaches who I feel like have been like showing up less or like feel like their energy's really low or their mindset's low, I always send them a DM like, hey, like what's going on? Like, do we need to get on a call? Like I'm so open with them. I have this joke on my team because when somebody's feeling like super duper down or just feeling like so stuck in their ways, we get on a call. And this one time I was on this call with one of my coaches who's a top leader on my team. And she's like, I feel like I'm in the principal's office. So like my whole message to them is all the time, like nobody's in the principal's office. Like, let's just like reset, revamp. But it's so funny. So what I do is I get on the call, and it's also really important to know your leaders. So I know a lot of people are into the Enneagrams, and as a psychology major, I'm so into it. So knowing those and figuring out what they are really passionate about or what drives them. Like sometimes it's retreats for some of my leaders. Sometimes it's gifts. Like I can be like, hey, like let's do this. And like whoever does this, like let's raffle off a free Kiava sports bra. And like 4 of them will be like, yes. And I know I'm strategic and I know which ones and what each coach wants and what motivates them. So figure out what coaches, what motivates your coaches, but also through that weird phase of like, okay, I never give up on my coaches for sure. Like I am not that type of person, not that type of coach to be like, you have to hit Success Club to get on a call with me. I'm totally not like that. I'm like, I want to work with anybody in my downline. So if I have a rock star coach under another coach, like I'm like, okay, let's get on a call. Like, hi, like I'm here. So I think there's a point where you have to let go. And when you let go and you find new coaches who are kicking ass, who are coming onto your team page and like hitting Emerald in an hour, that is when those coaches who I know still want this business, but just maybe stuck or maybe in a funk, come back because they're like, shit, okay, like I got to figure out my shit. So that's kind of how I base it off of, but sometimes they leave and you can't like let that defeat you either. Like I've had diamonds quit before in Emeralds and some come back and some don't. So I think it's really like your judgment as well and knowing them and knowing what motivates them and all that good stuff. So if that made sense.
It did. That was a very long question, so I appreciate you breaking it down.
No problem. Yes, the love language is also a really, really good one. Did somebody, I've only ran coach sneak peeks. I don't run free groups. I've never ran a free challenge group before. Is that all I missed? I think that's the things. Yeah, some of my coaches are motivated by money. Others are trips. Like they're all different. Yes. Did you say she was 18? See, yes. See, she's younger than me. Somebody's younger than me. Is that true? That she's 18? No? Yes? Why is everybody staring at me? Huh?
Who's 18?
I think someone is privately messaging you because we don't see it in the chat.
Oh.
I was like,
Now
no, but I would be honored.
Throwing out people's secrets.
How many?
They're trying to
No, I read the thing wrong. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm really tired. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Somebody asked, or Julie asked, do you do your sneak peeks on Facebook? I know you answered that you don't do free groups, but did you answer that one?
No. So yes, I do them all on Facebook. I will say most of my coaches come from my challenge groups. So that is mostly where they come from. Woo woo. I love your energy. You guys are like on fire. You're all very engaged. Like sometimes, you hop on calls and everybody's like this. you know? So I love your energy
These
too.
are all on fire. This group is fire. Like it is
Yeah,
exploding. It's so freaking fun to watch.
I could tell. Thank you. Thank you. Are we good? No more questions?
I think we're good. So,
Okay.
man, thank you so much. I mean, oh my gosh, you got like another 40 years of coaching in you. It's insane.
Right?
I'm like, I got like
I know.
5-6 years left in me. But
No.
all right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being on the call. Thank you again, Amber.
Thank you
for
guys
joining
for
us.
having me. Yes.
Maybe one day we'll have a live event again and we'll get to all hang out. And so we'll see you there. All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.